Hallo und willkommen zu Lone Star. Wir spielen Agatha Christie, Murder on the Orient Express. Ja, wir haben das letzte Mal in Venedig einen Mord beobachtet, konnten den Mörder aber nicht schnappen. Es muss der gleiche sein, der vorher auch Ratchet umgebracht hat. Und wir haben noch 3 Verdächtige. Die Andreni scheidet aus. Er könnte es noch gewesen sein. Er war auch nicht im Zug. Komischerweise wurde er rausgelassen vom Bug aus dem Zug, dass er da einen Besuch machen kann. Sehr seltsam. Wir haben aber noch weitere. Den Koch und die Sous-Köchin. Wie heißt es? Was ist das dann? Wer kommt da? Naja, der 1O-Koch, ne? Oder wie sich das auch immer schimpft. Bug, erzähl mal, ob das stimmt, dass du den rausgelassen hast.
You told Fauché he could go into Venice?
Marguerite, actually. Not so far away. It was his only chance to see his sister. He's been working every train for weeks. There is never time to see the new baby.
Enough, Book. Your heart does you credit, but your common sense,
I know. But it's fine. Isn't it? He did come back.
Oh, it's fine, as you say. Unless he saw the baby, then killed someone else and returned to the train.
But that's monstrous.
Murder is always monstrous, my friend.
Naja, okay. Dann reden wir mal mit ihm.
Saffron. It must be worth a small fortune.
Safran? Ach nee, da schauen wir nicht nach. Da gucken wir jedes Mal. Diese langweiligen Flaschen.
Good evening, Monsieur Maury. May I have a moment of your time? I have a few questions to ask you.
Of course, as long as you don't mind if dinner is ruined.
I promise to be as brief as possible. What did you do while we were stopped in Venice?
With Freya's help, I loaded fresh produce for the next part of our journey. Then, you may not believe this, but my job requires a lot of physical labor. My back suffers. Fortunately, Jean has become quite adept at separating my vertebrae.
As you may know, I have solved the murder of Monsieur Ratchet.
That is a shame.
I beg your pardon?
The bastard sent my steak tartar back, telling John I was to burn it.
I will add it to the list of his crimes. One wound on Monsieur Ratchet's body was struck by a very sharp, thin-bladed knife. We haven't found it yet.
You think one of mine was used?
I'd like to have a look if you don't mind.
In that drawer.
Kann aber auch jeder genommen haben.
An impressive set of knives, but their blades are too wide to have been used for the crime. Tell me about your poker game the night of the murder.
We started around 11 p.m. When John finished his shift. We played until around 2 a.m. From what I remember, it's a bit vague.
You played without a break.
Actually, we did break once for a smoke. John, Pierre, and I. When we stopped in Winkowski.
When was that?
Around midnight?
Wie passt es mit dem zusammen, was der andere erzählt hat, als er den Champagner nachgeladen hat? Vielleicht liegt hier auch einfach mal das Messer rum. Nee.
box is secured by some sort of locking mechanism. The design is formed by 3 commas. What is the word in Japanese? Tamoe. And it's obviously missing a piece. The box is secured by some sort of locking mechanism. The design is formed. Tamoe.
Aha. Ist das dem Mori sein Zimmer? Chips und Schokoladencracker. Das ist eine gute Mischung. Wieso sind das eigentlich nur 2 Zimmer? Ah, hier liegt was.
A black feather. That reminds me of something.
Ja, bevor wir mit dir reden. Ach, das sind auch unsere schön gestapelten Kisten. Die Kisten von Hanoi. Hurra!
Come to Poirot, my exquisitely sculpted friend. Good evening, Mademoiselle Nielsen. May I talk to you for a moment?
Of course, Mr. Poirot. I'm not going to bed right away.
Can you tell me your movements while we were stopped in Venice?
That'll be easy. I didn't move much at all. Let's see. I helped Hotaru load all of the food crates aboard the train. Hotaru had everything he needed, but I realized they forgot half of my order. I spent over an hour on the phone with the supplier without success. I had to change the dessert menu for tomorrow.
Dr. Constantine found a stab wound on Ratchet's body that was caused by a much thinner and sharper blade than the others.
Ich glaube, man soll es ihr lieber nicht erzählen.
My thought,
Sondern erstmal angucken und dann
And you'd like to
sagen.
see my knives?
if you wouldn't mind.
I would gladly show you if I had any, but I don't. I use the regular kitchen knives. You may search if you don't believe me.
I see.
All the knives the staff use are in the kitchen or in the lounge, except
Except
Hotaru prefers to use his own.
Monsieur Mori doesn't use the kitchen knives?
Not usually. I know he keeps a set of traditional Japanese knives in a box in his room. He doesn't let anyone else use them. Although now that I think of it, he has been using the kitchen knives lately.
Naja, sie weiß aber ziemlich viel drüber.
Can you tell me exactly about your poker game the night of the murder?
We started around 11 p.m. In Vinkovsky, we took a short break. Hotaru and Pierre went outside to smoke. Oh, and Hotaru got sick around a few minutes past 1 a.m. 1:10 a.m. maybe? He spent about 15 minutes in the bathroom, but he didn't want to quit on a losing streak.
Did his luck improve?
No, so we played to around 2 a.m. He lost every hand.
Ja, der eine war beim Rauchen, hat keine Alibi in der Zeit, da um 1:15 Uhr oder was es war. Der andere hat den Champagner nachgeladen, war allein, hat auch kein Alibi. Und sie wurde von beiden allein gelassen, hat dann da auch kein Alibi. Das nutzt uns, glaube ich, auch noch nicht so viel.
I've talked to everyone, but some elements of the testimonies do not seem to correspond. I need to recheck a few things.
Wir sollten vielleicht mit dem Messer überprüfen. Dafür bräuchte ich aber erstmal sowas, was wie ein Komma geformt ist. Ich glaube, ich habe da nichts gesehen in dem Raum. Ah, hier kann ich noch was anschauen. Ist das eine Puzzlebox? Und wenn ja, was puzzelt? Ah. Oh mein Gott, eine Puzzlebox. Wieso kann ich jetzt die Puzzlebox nicht mehr drehen? So. Also erstmal nochmal zu. Also die Steuerung geht mir jetzt schon wieder auf den Keks. Kriege ich ja nie auf, das Ding. Weil ich den nicht rausziehen kann hier. Ich weiß auch nicht. Ich kenne dieses Prinzip von diesen Dingern gar nicht. Turn funktioniert halt nicht. Ich kann jetzt die Box nicht mehr drehen. Ich bin jetzt hier gefangen in dem Schieben von diesem Ding. Aha, jetzt haben wir hier 2 Blumen. Nochmal eine Blume. Den wähle ich nicht in die Richtung. Der muss darüber. So, der muss jetzt darüber. Dann der obere auf die Seite. Jetzt können wir den darüber ziehen.
An object that looks like a broken comma. It must be part of something else.
Cousin. Ach, das ist ein Koffer. Ich habe gedacht, das ist ein Tisch und das ist nur so eine kleine Platte hier.
Colteria Venezia. Sushi knives, razor sharp.
Das Messer wurde ausgetauscht.
Sushi knives, razor sharp. Sushi knives, razor sharp. Sushi knives, razor sharp.
Also. Was haben wir? Ask Mr. Mori about his personal knives. I found a box in Mr. Mori's quarters. Its size and shape suggest it's a knife case. He told me about the kitchen knives, but neglected to mention these. Ja, wir reden erstmal mit dem Koch, bevor wir uns da um den goldenen Punkt oben rechts kümmern, der da aufgepoppt ist, mit dem Fragezeichen.
I'm sorry, Monsieur Mori, but haven't you forgotten something? You haven't told me about the knives hidden in your room.
Ha! Yes, indeed. I forgot to tell you about those. They are my personal knives. I only use these knives. There are none better. I bought them all in Japan. No one is allowed to touch them except me.
Da ist die Lüge. Beziehungsweise, wenn er es gar nicht weiß, dann kann ihm ja untergejubelt worden sein. Dann ist es gar keine Lüge.
I'm afraid you are better at sushi than lying.
What? What do you mean?
One of the knives has an inscription, Coltelleria Venezia. Did you happen to go shopping tonight, monsieur?
Damn you, Poirot. Very well. One of my sushi knives has been missing since the night of the murder. I thought you were going to believe I killed Ratchet. He routinely sent back my dishes to be ruined. Why does God give rich people the money to afford the best cuisine, but not the palate to appreciate it? I panic. I know a very good store in Venice. I went to buy a knife to replace the one that had gone missing, so I wouldn't be accused. I assure you that I had nothing to do with any murders.
I would have an easier time believing you, monsieur, if you put that knife down.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry.
What time did you leave on your little shopping trip?
I left around 9:30 p.m. I was back a little after 11:15 p.m.
Time enough to stab Monsieur Waddy and return. Very well, Monsieur Maury. That's all for now. If I have another question...
I'll be right here, cooking.
Ja, das kann es aber dann auch die Frau gewesen sein. Weil die hat es ja gar nicht erwähnt, dass er weggegangen ist. Da war ja auch wirklich keiner bei dem Zug. Ich meine, was hat Bug da eigentlich gemacht? Hat der gucken sollen, dass keiner den Zug verlässt? Aber anscheinend war ja die halbe Mannschaft weg. Oder zumindest mal von den Angestellten alle. Ja gut, wir wissen es noch nicht, ob es wirklich alle waren, aber ich glaube schon. So. Something is not quite right, with Miss Nielsen testimony. Schauen wir erstmal nach dem Alibi. Select two elements that gives the staff an alibi for the time of the murder. Mr. Michel, Mr. Mori and Mr. Forscher left the train in Winkowski to smoke. Ja, aber zwei Sachen. Ich meine, das hier, ja, da war noch jemand dabei. Aber hier ist jetzt gar keiner dabei von denen. Und Champagner da, Refrigerator, gibt es da überhaupt einen Zeugen für? Miss Nielsen does not smoke. Ist eher ein Zeichen dafür, dass sie da nicht dabei war. Und hat er wirklich gewomitet? Wir wissen es nicht. Und dass er nicht beobachtet hat, dass da irgendwas war, das gibt einem auch kein Alibi, dann eher noch Vomit.
I must admit I'm not right this time.
Die zwei haben wir schon gehabt. Wie passt denn das zusammen? Miss Nielsen did not leave the train in Winkowski. So she was alone in the crew quarters. Es gibt doch kein Alibi, bitte. Und das hat für mich jetzt wenig Sinn ergeben. Ich meine, die zwei haben schon vorher nicht funktioniert. Kann ja nur was Neues mit dem sein.
I do not think that's the right answer.
Also da habe ich jetzt gerade gar keinen Schimmer, wie das zusammenpassen soll.
No, not good. Think, Poirot. That is not a good answer. I do not think that's the right answer.
Ja, ich kann hier nur raten. Ich verstehe diese Frage nicht. Das ergibt doch alles kein Alibi.
This is wrong, but I'm never far from the truth. No, not good.
Mr. Forshaw boarded the train at 12:55 when Pierre Michel was not watching the corridor. Es gibt doch kein Alibi. I don't get it. Ja, dann müssen es die zwei sein. Mr. Mori reboarded the train at 1:10 a.m. when Pierre Michel was not watching the corridor.
Any of the three staff members had the opportunity to kill Ratchet when Monsieur Michel wasn't watching the hallway.
Ja, das ergibt doch alles kein Alibi. Also irgendwie passt es nicht zu dieser Frage, die da gestellt wurde. Ja, ich habe ja gesagt, es hätte jeder von denen sein können. Na super. Very strange.
Remind me of what you did when the train stopped in Venice.
No problem. I helped Hotaru load all of the food crates aboard the train. Hotaru had everything he needed, but I realized they forgot half of my order. I spent over an hour on the phone with the supplier, without success. I had to change the dessert menu for tomorrow.
Kann ja nicht bloß das sein. Über alles andere wissen wir nichts. Wir wissen bloß vom Hotaru, dass da was gewesen war.
Mademoiselle, I believe you're hiding the truth from me.
What makes you say that?
Monsieur Mori was loading crates of food on the train.
Yes, I helped him. You can ask him yourself.
It's true. Monsieur Mori told me that Miss Nielsen did help him.
Ah, das war der Michel, der hat's gesagt.
Michel saw Monsieur Mori carrying the crates of food alone.
Das läuft ja
He
aber gar
worked
nicht
on the
gut.
platform.
I did help Hotaru.
The entire time? He carried so many crates, his back was sore.
Ah, I'm sorry about that. Okay, I'm guilty. I did leave him before we were finished. But I had to. There was no saffron he needed for a recipe. I volunteered to go into Venice and get him some. The Rialto market would be open late because of the carnival. He gave me money. I knew we weren't supposed to leave the train, but I only wanted to help. Mr. Mori can confirm this. Ask him. I saved dinner.
On behalf of my palate, I thank you. How long were you gone?
I left at 9:10 p.m. and was back with the saffron around 11. That's when I called my supplier for the items I was missing.
Miss Nielsen had almost 2 hours to buy the saffron, find a costume, kill Monsieur Wadi, elude Detective Locke, and make it back to the train for that phone call. Yes, it's possible that was enough time. Thank you, Mademoiselle Nielsen. That is all for now.
Sorry again, Mr. Poirot. I hope you enjoy tonight's dessert.
Na, ich hoffe, keiner von denen will uns jetzt vergiften. Aber sind wir jetzt weitergekommen? Wir können die Alibis untersuchen. Taugen alle nichts. Das haben wir uns schon angeschaut. Who doesn't have an alibi for the murder? Miss Nielsen. Der auch nicht. Ja, Mori, da bin ich mir nicht so ganz sicher. Er wurde ja gesehen.
I must admit I'm not right this time.
Dann aber alle 3. Ich dachte, der
Voilà.
Michel hat alle 3 gesehen. Ja, das haben wir auch vorher schon gewusst. Da war ich mir nicht mehr so ganz sicher. Vielleicht hätte man sich das auch nochmal anschauen können. Miss Nielsen, Mr. Maury and Mr. Forscher all had just enough time in Venice to murder Mr. Vardy and still get back to the train. Das sind aber ein Haufen Enoughs. I must report the results of my investigation to Detective Locke and tell her who appears to be the remaining suspects. Ah, so gesehen ist der Zug ganz schön lang, hm? In welchem Zimmer war sie denn? Da müssen wir hier nachschauen. 105. Warum die Second Class die Zimmer sage ich immer, die Abteile mit 1 anfangen und die First Class alle mit 2, erschließt sich mir auch nicht, aber von mir aus. War es 102 oder 105?
What have you been doing, Poirot? I am completely in the dark.
I will shine some light on the situation, my friend. I have 3 new suspects who could have killed Ratchet and Monsieur Wadi. Miss Nielsen, Monsieur Fauché, and Monsieur Murray.
Fauché,
they
sagt
all
er.
had
Sag immer
periods
Forscher.
of time during both murders to commit the deed, and their alibis are weak. A visit to family, and not 1, but 2 shopping trips.
But all are my employees.
Alas, yes, my dear book. But we have no proof against any of them. None of the 3 appears to have any motive whatsoever.
Ja, ich wollte gerade
this is a
sagen, uns
tragedy.
fehlt hauptsächlich
Do
mal
not give
erstmal
up
ein
hope.
Motiv.
We will catch this murderer. There is still one place that may hold the evidence we need.
Geneva.
Exact.
Do not give up hope? Well, that's easy for you to say. But what if it's Freya? What becomes of dessert? If it's Sotaru, who will cook? Me? And the worst, if it's Jean, who will serve the drinks?
Ja, das
I've
sind
been checking
Probleme.
up on the Banque du Lac. I had to confirm my identity for Interpol, so they contacted my captain at the Berkshire Police.
I suspect he was not pleased.
That my vacation was actually an unofficial investigation? I'll say.
I would be happy to speak to him on your behalf.
Thank you. But he'll get over it. It's a chance to close the books on the Armstrong kidnapping. He stopped yelling, asked for a report, then granted me an extra week.
Excellent. What did you learn from Interpol about the Banque du Lac?
It's had a bad reputation for over a century. Customers have included the mafia, Nazis, corporate swindlers of every description, even heads of state.
It is true, this.
Even Heads of
It is
States.
the worst
Ooh.
kept secret in banking. They take advantage of the bank's strict policy of protecting the anonymity of its clients. This is in defiance of many laws from multiple countries, including Switzerland itself. Of course, I have never taken advantage of such a corrupt system.
That goes without saying, my friend.
There are ongoing investigations, subpoenas, court orders. The bank will eventually have to comply, or its assets may be seized. But until then, it still thrives, thanks to its wealthy and powerful clients.
It sounds perfect for the late Monsieur Ratchet. Do you have any ideas?
The serial numbers from some of the bills match those from the Armstrong kidnapping. We agreed in Venice that the bulk of the money must still be physically in the bank's vault.
I concur, Detective Locke. Exemplary work. So, our next task is clear. We need to get into Ratchet's safety deposit box.
There'll be codes, passwords.
And Monsieur Wadi would, of course, have known them all. The bag of money he carried is proof of that.
We'll need to find information about Ratchet's box in Wadi's office at the bank.
Most assuredly, but remember the secrecy involved. I doubt his office will contain all we need. Where else must we dig?
Where can I find information on Ratchet's safety deposit box? Ja, woher soll ich das wissen? Ratchet's Diary? Ask Mr. McQueen. Mr. Wadis Apartment. Hat er ein Diary gehabt?
This is wrong, but I'm never far from the truth.
Ja,
There was
es sind
nothing
nur
helpful
3
in
andere.
Ratchet's diary. I do not think that's the right answer. Mr. McQueen was clueless about Ratchet's private business, especially with Aziz Wadi. My little gray cells did not let me down.
Mr. Wadi couldn't keep all of his secrets at the bank. Hopefully we'll find something in his apartment. We already have his address thanks to his passport, and his keys we retrieved from his body.
The train stops in Lausanne at
Ach
8 a.m.
so.
But that's far from Geneva.
Ich hab
I
gedacht,
can
er war
delay the
ja
departure until
in
11
Venedig,
a.m.
dabei
No
wohnte er
later.
gar nicht
The
da.
police are expecting us in Paris by the end of the afternoon at the latest. They won't tolerate any delay.
The bank doesn't open until 9. I can see only one way that gives us a chance to be on time.
Boot? Taxi? Wieso Boot? How to go to Geneva? Flugzeug würde ich tippen. Ich weiß auch gar nicht mehr, wo wir anliegen. Vielleicht ist ein Boot direkt, aber nehmen wir mal Taxi.
Let's take a taxi. I checked a map. It should take us less than an hour to get to Geneva from Lausanne, which leaves us just enough time to access that safety deposit box. We have no choice if we want to be back to the train by 11 a.m.
How to search the apartment and the office efficiently.
The best thing is to separate. One of us searches his apartment, the other searches his office. To access the safety deposit box, we need to find the key, the box number, and the passcode.
Suppose you find all this. How do you plan to get into the vault?
Search warrant impersonating Ratchet. Search warrant werden wir nicht bekommen, hm?
We are going to use the bank's anonymity policy to our advantage.
And the quickest way is for you to impersonate Ratchet.
I would rather impersonate Jack the Ripper, but in the interest of justice, I will do it.
We need to find the account number.
Along with everything else.
I will say I want access to the vault. They don't ask for papers or even names. The vault information is enough.
I'm not hearing any of this. I run a train company. I don't rob banks.
Perfect. Let's recap the plan.
Wir nehmen uns ein Taxi. Separate. Wir searchen die Deposit Box am Ende. Das ist eigentlich gerade egal, wie rum wir das machen. Impersonate. Find information. Meet up at the bank. Office and apartment.
That's the right answer.
To sum up, we're going by taxi to Geneva. Then we'll split up. You're going to search Mr. Waddy's apartment. I'll search the office at the bank. When we have all the information we need, you pretend to be Ratchet, and we can finally find out what Ratchet is keeping hidden in his safety deposit box.
It sounds impossible.
Not for Detective Joanna Locke and Hercule Poirot.
We should get some rest.
You are right, Detective. We face our greatest challenge tomorrow. Together.
Ich dachte nicht together. Sie wollten doch getrennt? Naja.
Nine o'clock. Our driver did well. It took barely an hour to get here from Lausanne.
But we must conclude our business in 1 hour as well. Book can only hold the train until 11 o'clock.
1 hour to find the key of Ratchet's safety deposit box, the box number, and its passcode. A lot to ask.
Indeed, which is why we must split our forces. I will take the cab to Monsieur Waddy's address. You must search his office.
I have you on speed dial. And thank you, Mr. Poirot.
For what, mademoiselle?
For trusting me.
Ach, denn sein Office war in der Bank. Ja, das müssen wir also jetzt erstmal finden und dann durchsuchen. Und Poirot muss das andere durchschauen, ob er da was findet. Dann müssen sie sich gegenseitig absprechen, ob sie alles bekommen haben, was sie brauchen. Und dann müssen sie an das Schließfach kommen. Das machen wir aber alles nicht mehr heute. Ich würde sagen, wir machen an dieser Stelle lieber erstmal ein kleines Päuschen. Und ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen und wir sehen uns das nächste Mal.